This is the great campaigns of the American Civil War game series. Used to be by Victory Games, and then the game system was sold to MMP Gamers, which is fine. So they republished some of the old titles, updated the maps. The maps are really beautiful, really gorgeous, the graphics. And remember, this is not the battle series, but the campaign series. That's why the map areas are much, much, much larger. So Gettysburg is over here, but you can see the whole Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia down the bottom, and so on. I just put one up. This is the scenario day 4, which never happened, when Robert E. Lee retreated from Gettysburg back into Virginia. George Meade did not chase after him. He just token, chase him, just going through the motions. So Lincoln was really mad at him, and a whole bunch of other people also mad at him. And the route that Robert E. Lee took was actually the route Peggy and we drove when we went to Antietam, which is right here. And they passed through falling waters and retreated back Maryland into Virginia. So they escaped in the sense. But anyway, back to the game system, which is okay. But as I said, this is a game based on design 40 years ago. So in the sense, it's outdated. To activate the turns, you have to roll dice. So it's not I go, you go, the south go, the north go. It just, sometimes a higher die roll result will go. So sometimes the Union will have like four or five turns in a row, and the Confederates could also end up with 2 or 3, rolls consecutively. So yeah, nowadays they don't really play games like that, design games like that. So, but anyway, it is okay. And so actually there's no choice. So you want to play the campaign, that means the massive movements. You have to pick this game series, because otherwise, like Antietam or Gettysburg, usually just focus on that battle only, Manassas or Shiloh. But this is the whole operation strategic level. So that's why it concentrates a lot on movement for this game design. So actually you only have 4 options. So either movement, or you activate the commanders, or you do assault, or you do destroy the railroads. So again, this is old game design. So yeah, so historically the Union have control of Gettysburg after, on July 3rd, 1864, and then they retreated. Actually, Robert E. Lee have a long retreat line, almost like 2,000 wagons, all the injured people and so on. So that's why, I don't know why George Meade did not chase after him, but he just took command like 2 days before the Battle of Gettysburg. So maybe he was trying to be on the safe side, whatever. So Ulysses S. Grant, 2 years later, 1 year later, will be different. The Overland Campaign, he chased Robert E. Lee all the way back to Richmond and Petersburg, and then at Appomattox Courthouse, Robert E. Lee finally surrendered. So, and even the combat might reveal is that it is old design. So now just only one table, but here the CRT has two, one for the attackers and one for the defenders, which is okay. Some people like this kind of chart consulting. Actually, I do too, so you go to the charts, and then go to all the details. But this is, again, old design, the modifiers. Again, I keep saying it. Yeah, they're just old design. So for example, just bring one of these guys up. So let's pick Panda's his division. So as you can see, this is the combat and the manpower value to start out. Once organized, it's the same, which is fine. The tactical value is like the morale. The other game series, it's like ABCDs, but this is numeric. That's fine. And 4 is the artillery, which I do not really like. So the artillery is really like an abstract afterthought, to this game design. What's modifiers? So, for example, even the ratio at you have to be at a ratio of 2 to 1 in order. No, even that there's no effect. So have to be a ratio of 5 to 1 in order to have any impact on the artillery, which I do not agree with. Yeah, I mean does not make sense. And even 5 to 1 when it's clear terrain, which most of the case, the modifier is only +1 to the die roll, which is not enough. But again, I don't know. Like the Pickett's charge, the artillery really did a lot of damage to George Pickett. So yeah, artillery is really devastating to the infantry due to Civil War, even nowadays. But they do not really focus on it too much. So again, fine. Attack ratio is fine. So nowadays you just take the difference between the attackers and the defenders. Like for example, okay, let's pick this guy. Yeah, okay, let's just pick this guy. So like he's a cavalry, but let's say 9 to 2. So the attack ratio is like 4 to 1 or something. Even you round it down. But here, you have to do separately the attack ratio, and then you also furthermore have the tactical value. So the second number 3 to 2, the morale. So a lot of adjustments, tedious CRT tables, consulting, combat result tables, back and forth. You can memorize this. So you need to have a chart to look it up, every time you have a combat or something, which I, do not like, too much. The fatigue levels is fine. Nowadays, the new design, the morale fatigue levels are tied together, but here the fatigue levels are separate, matter, so and then sometimes you get disorganized, and then gets even more complicated. So then the manpower and then the combat value are split into 2 numbers. Manpower will stay the same, but the combat value will decrease because they're disorganized. So as I said again, nowadays the new game design, they're all lumped together: fatigue, morale, and organized, disorganized, route, and whatever, retreat. But here it's more tedious. And in addition, they also have being demoralized, one, and also you can't even have demoralized to level 2. So again, just more tedious work. The artillery is gone in this case, and the recovery will be it's more difficult to recover. So again, this is old design, not of detail work. Yeah, so yeah, because like the fatigue level can go to 4. So by the time and every time they move, they will increase the fatigue level by 1, which is okay. And by the time they're fatigue level 4, they can do nothing, not sitting ducks. So again, once again, it's old design. And can I bring the other stuff up? Maybe here. And the other thing is like no, there's nothing. Okay, I don't know. Maybe here. See, I can find it for you. Combat. It's complicated enough. Maybe here. Okay, yes, see, and even the movement in this, game design, you have to roll dice, to see how far you can move. So good luck and bad luck, So I mean, historically, they should be able to, to march, right, no matter what. But here, even they're in perfect shape, fatigue level 0, organized and not demoralized, clear terrain, early in the morning. But you roll a die, roll a 1, I mean, you can move 1 hex, which is not logical. But okay, whatever. So, no, I don't have it here. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe I do. Yeah, and the other thing is I don't know, maybe because they want to utilize a bit more the fatigue level and so on, and also being exhausted. Actually, disorganized is not exhausted, so they throw in the extended march impact. So when it is like a normal organized fatigue level 2, 3, and 4, then they have to roll a die to see if they suffer any manpower losses. It's just okay, but just more work. And if they're exhausted, then disorganized, even level 2, which is in this case, yellow, then they also have to roll a die, and then to see whether they will have any manpower loss. It gets really tedious. Yeah, so exhausted. Yeah. So actually, I missed one. So they could be exhausted, they could have fatigue level, they could be demoralized, and they could also be organized or disorganized. So a lot of stuff. Yeah. So again, old design. So if I play this on my table, there will not chits. I mean, the counters stack one on top of the other. So and my eyes are no good. So, but again, this is the game, design. So either you like it or you don't like it. So I don't play too many operation level games, so you should battle individual battle games like, as I said, Chickamauga, Manassas, Chancellorsville, Fredericksburg, and Coal Harbor, but Vicksburg, so Champion Hill. But this is give you a chance to play the whole campaign. So historically, me should have cut them off, before they can cross into Maryland, Virginia. And actually, the cavalry is already, ahead of them. But stupidly, he wanted to have reinforcements, etc. So Lee was able to, with the 2,000 wagons, went back into Virginia. So, and then the war went on for 2 more years. So, yeah, I think that is it. Yeah, not a tedious detail work. And even the combat result tables, as I said, just like income taxes are making fun, big D, little d, big R, little a, and, small a, big F, small f. So, yeah, a lot of, different combat result outcomes. So, a lot of tedious work. And do the recovery here chart. If not, it's okay. No, they don't have it. Okay, let me see again. Move one, terrain, combat result, be combat modifiers, retreat. Yeah, not recovery. I mean retreat. And even the retreat, when you suffer a R and so on, a letter R, so you have to retreat. And look at this, it's so confusing. So your option 1, option 2, priority 1 all the way to priority 5. So, I mean, basically, you retreat 2 or 4 or 6 axes depending on the outcome of the combat result table. And if you end up in the zone of control, that means a adjacent enemy unit, you will either suffer a manpower loss and so on. But look at, they make it just, so complicated. I mean, again, old design. Yeah, nowadays, this one, we're joking on Facebook. Even in college, we didn't study that this hard, trying to read through the manual, which is like 80 pages, in general, Yeah, so even college, we cliff notes. And, when I went to college, they don't have computer or chat GPT yet, but still, yeah. And they even had cavalry retreat separately and infantry somewhere here, So. Good, whatever. So, and they don't even show the recovery here. So that's a phase. The sequence of play. So once nobody wants to move anymore, then the turn will end. So the last the last phase or cycle, what we call it, is the recovery. And right here, and the recovery, again, it's not on the computer here, but it's really tedious. There's also like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You have to follow the sequence. So fatigue level will decrease to 3, and if 3 and 4, you will become disorganized, and so on and so forth. So yeah. So basically, at the end of the turn, you want to recover back to hopefully to base, to normal. So yeah, so no more exhausted or demoralized or disorganized. You want to fatigue level back to normal, so yeah, so that you can, do other stuff. And even the attacks, when you activate the commander, you also have to roll another die. So let's say so a lot depends on luck. So he rolls a 5. So you have to subtract the die roll from his command value 5. So basically it will become 0. So this dude can only activate 1 more unit under him. If he has 6 and so on, basically he can activate, up to 5. His command value. So a lot of stuff depends on the die roll, which is random, depends on luck. So it's good and bad, but sometimes too much, depending on the die roll luck outcome, you sort of take away the fun of the game. So anyway, in conclusion, there's really not too much choices. You want to play campaign games like this, you have to pick this one because all the others are individual battle games. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so I think it's okay. It's okay. But the games are not cheap. So just play on Vessel here. Someone hopefully will do what this guy did, and put it onto the computer. So, all right.